So you got yourself a Leica camera, and now you want to get yourself some Leica glass. If you really want something that's made by Leitz Wetzlar in Germany, there's one option that is highly underrated. I introduce to you the Leica Summaron 35 3.5. The 35 Summaron comes in a few options. There's the LTM version or L39 screw mount, but there's also a Leica M bayonet mount. The Leica M bayonet 35 3.5 can be had for under $500, and it's razor sharp. Whenever you're buying a vintage lens, you have to make sure that the glass is in good condition. A lot of vintage lenses have fog or haze, so when you're looking for one online, make sure that you're looking at the images and reading the description carefully. The copy I have of the Summaron has near perfect glass, and you'll see the results. This lens is still razor sharp even though it's nearly 70 years old. So after setting up my Summaron, my friend and I loaded up a roll of Pro 400H that we'd had sitting in the fridge, and we went out to shoot. The lens performed beautifully, and you can see the sharpness and the character, and even at 3.5 you have this incredible swirly bokeh. I also have a version 2 Summicron 35, and because of the higher optical quality of my Summaron between the two lenses, I actually think that the Summaron outperforms my Summicron. And I'll show a side-by-side comparison with similar lighting. The film stocks were slightly different, but you can definitely see the quality of the bokeh and the similarity in sharpness. Again, I think the Summaron is slightly sharper than my Summicron. There's one big caveat with the 35 3.5 and the M bayonet mount, which is that it was made for the Leica M3. So when mounted to the M2, M4, my M4P, and even later Leica camera, it brought up the 50mm frame lines rather than the 35 that you should have. Now there's a workaround to this, but for Leica purists this is a little bit scary. Since most modern Leicas, and the M2 included, bring up the 35mm frame lines as default, you're able to file off a little bit of the bayonet off the Summaron, and therefore it'll still show the 35mm frame lines when mounted. So I went ahead and did this, and this is a little bit scary to do. I am not a big modifier of lenses or cameras typically, and especially with something in such perfect condition and vintage like a glass, I was hesitant, but it's extremely simple. It's just a very small amount of metal that needs to come off, and you can clearly see where it needs to go. So I just went ahead and took a file and filed off a little bit at a time until it was where I needed it. So my lens now works perfectly with the 35mm frame lens. The Summaron pairs perfectly with the M2 or M4. Any silver Leica is going to look beautiful with it. And it's cool having a piece of history in your hands. A 70-year-old Leica lens made in Wetzlar, Germany by a person. The only real issue I have with this lens and many other vintage lenses is that the close focus is only a meter. And with more modern Leica glass or even third-party lenses, you're almost always going to have 0.8 or 0.7 meters as your minimum focus, which especially for things like portraits, I really like having that option. But even at a meter, you still have a great depth of field, great character, and as you can see from some of my example images, even the portraits look really good, even with the minimum focus of just a meter. Here are some example images I took with various film stocks and my Summaron mounted on my M2.